Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Brave Healing Podcast. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about our guest today. You guys, Brave Healing Podcast is where we're changing the world one brave word and vibe at a time. I'm Laura DeFranco, and I want you to know that your story has the power to heal you and the people listening to it. Your fear of not good enough, it's boring, y'all, because what if the thing you're still a little afraid to share is exactly what someone needs to hear to change or even save their life? Today, here to share her story with you, I am really excited to have as my guest, Simply Sherri. Welcome, Sherri.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So you guys, with stylish sexiness, I got to read this right. Okay. With stylish sexiness, Simply Sherri's accessible writing style and enjoyable performance offer a revealing reflection of her world that goes straight to the heart. Her poetry makes audiences laugh, cry, but more often smile at the naughty thoughts her words cause. I can attest to that. Born and Maryland raised. Hey, I am too, by the way. She has been writing since 2001 and performing since 2008. Simply Sherri has spotlighted and featured at various venues along the East Coast, sparkling audiences with her signature love, sexy, classy, nasty style, a humorous, heartfelt, and hot poetic exploration of love and relationships. Sherri can be found every Sunday on Zoom with the Keep the Mic On Collective and hosting on Busboys and Poets Instagram twice a month. Watch her Instagram feed to find out those dates and times. And of course, you guys, as always, after the show, I've got you guys linked up and you can find her at simplypoeticentertainment.com. Oh, listen, I love your poetry. I have loved it since the first night, whatever the Busboys I was at when I first saw you perform, and I just fell in love with the way that you do poetry. Plus, you know, I'm a kind of a sexy poetry lover too. So,
correct.
Tell us your story.
I wrote this piece actually the other day, and it was a writing prompt from a youth poet that I know out of Baltimore. And her piece, I'm going to do the poem and you'll get the idea what the prompt was. And it'll kind of also give everybody about where I am right now, poetry performance wise, during our current times. I'll say it that way.
It's a good way to say it.
It's a good way to say it. I stopped performing poetry because I didn't see how I translate through all the different size screens. I can't control how all this love, sexy, classy, nasty would be stretched or condensed, and how all this epicness would actually be represented. These words come with beat face, dress in heels, and I want to give every audience I grace the full Simply Sherri experience. I stopped performing poetry because quarantine translated to staycation. Take the break, get the rest, release some stress, say goodbye to the always on the go, and to stillness, say hello. And trying to keep up with all the available opportunities would crowd out the silence. I'm taking this unexpected intermission, and because one day the next act will begin, the rat race will resume, and who knows when I will have this downtime like this anytime soon. I stopped performing because while my introvert is enjoying the isolation, my old uninvited companion depression visits regularly. And as soon as I feel that I have grasped on all things and have the energy to do all things, I find myself immobile on the couch, feeling tears on my cheeks. And I don't want to commit when I'm unsure that I can give it my best. I stopped performing because I'm hosting 2 venues and creating platforms to help remind viewers that poets are people too. They twist words and soar on stage while struggling through all life's challenge. They have a life on stage. We keep the mic on to turn the page. We are building so that when all of this is over on Sundays, we will still be there. I stopped performing because I am fortunate to still be employed, working, and collecting a full paycheck. This is not the reality for the rest of my poetry family and friends. Poets have products to sell, and some of these online features and slams are paying, and I would rather see these dollars ensure that their bills are getting paid. Some days you can catch me online performing on social media, but I still long for the day when I will strap on my 4-inch heels, stride to a stage, drink in the applause, gaze upon a live audience, exhale, and recite a poem.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I can feel the just writtenness of that for so many reasons. And I feel it for so many other reasons, just personally, resonating with so many pieces of that. We're all missing the connection. Yeah. With our poetry people, poetry family.
Yeah, I edited my bio because, as you know, I do host live at Busboys and Poets as well, when outside is open. And I've slowly been canceling my features these past couple of months. And when I canceled my feature for June, prior to canceling my feature for June, I'm like, we're hoping to be open for June, so you'll be my first feature back, was the email I sent to somebody. And he was just like, I can't wait to see you and I can't wait to hug you. And I'm like, same. That's exactly where I'm at. Same. And then when I had to cancel, I was like, damn.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I just don't know when I'm going to be able to be around my people again, like completely and fully. And it hurts. It hurts a lot.
Yeah, it does. And I appreciate you being here today with me to just share your voice and your feels about it. And I know that one of the things you really wanted to talk today about was just how unplugging can be a really good thing in terms of reconnecting with what's important. So
Correct.
Talk to me a little bit about that. What's been on your mind?
I think a lot of people, because there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
2020 has just been a lot. I'm just going to stop. It just needed to be said again.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't even know where to pick to start, except just to say, let's just start with the quarantine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or the stay-at-home orders, or the virus, just whatever. And then coming into the recent week, with now we have protests and over the death over another police involved death, and the 2 before that just recently came out. There's just been a lot, and everybody, I think, is ramped up and just wound like a top. And I think when you get to a point where everybody was already starting to get to the end of their rope dealing with the quarantine, and now all of this is going on, we're all really at the end of our rope.
Yeah.
And all of our normal outlets to go handle our frustrations are not there because of the virus. So we're all stuck and we're all bottled up.
Yep.
And so we have to find ways to disconnect. We have to be at peace with ourselves in not engaging in everything. I spent this morning watching Chicago, the movie, because it's not the news and it's not my
I so hear you.
And I think that was important.
Yes.
For my mental health today, to just not watch my Twitter feed and just not engage. And I mean, to try to unplug as best as I can.
What would you say to somebody who's in that addiction mode? They could have been it before this all happened, but of course, when there's this kind of news and the shock and awe of this kind of news, you kind of, some people roll back into kind of being addicted to watching that. And I know people who do it for hours and hours. There's, oh gosh, right. It just makes this feeling inside of me. What would you say to somebody who's doing that?
Even if only for a half an hour, just start with 30 minutes. Put the phone down, turn off the TV, turn on the radio. I know you have a favorite song, a favorite band, a favorite singer, something that you can listen to for 30 minutes. A favorite poet.
Yeah.
That you can listen to for 30 minutes that is not all of this clutter. That's not all of this extra. Because, or even with the stay-at-home orders in place, there's nothing that says that you can't walk outside and just walk around the block. Like, just walk around the block. just shut it all down and walk away.
It's really necessary to do that. I like what you're saying about just what about a half an hour?
Yeah, just because like sometimes, because, one of two things is going to happen. One, you're going to, a little bit of it is going to dissipate because you're not ramped up and wound into it. Or two, my hope would maybe the half an hour will stretch into an hour, and then you'll really start feeling better. Yeah. So you'll really you know what, this really feels good. Maybe I don't need to go down my Twitter feed again and try to find the racist to cuss out. Maybe I don't need to, let me go find that movie that I missed watching last year, and let me go watch that movie, and you'll find something else to do.
Yeah. Yeah, you hope it builds momentum, right? So just start a little bit.
You'll start a little bit and you'll step away, and then you'll find something else to do and just get away from it for a little while.
We've been thrown into, so there's the news, but then with the stay-home orders, we're all online times 1,000 in addition to being online with the news, where business owners are Zooming, they're on, they're plugged in. Oh my God, we thought it was bad before. And now, so it's even more important to do it, you guys, and like Sherri said, just even for a small amount of time, for the health of your mind, body, soul, to even do it for a short amount of time. So, we need to take care of ourselves. What are the other tools you're using right now?
I have done several things. In my piece, I've mentioned that I am of the fortunate that is still working. I work in higher education. My job is I am not a teacher. There are other jobs in higher education. I got to keep saying that because people keep asking me, well, what class do you teach? No, that's not what I do. That's not what I do. But my job is associated with higher education. But so I'm still working. And I am still collecting a full check. I'm just working from home. Some things that I have done, and as I've just previously mentioned, one of my outlets is writing and performing, which I'm not doing really right now because that's a lifestyle. And I'm like, oh, I'm not ripping and running 5 days a week, as I used to. So I'm finding it actually very relaxing. One thing I've done is I have other projects and other hobbies that I enjoy, that I have leaned into a little bit more. I like to sew clothing. I haven't sewn clothing yet, but I've definitely sewn some masks and some other little projects. So me and my sewing machine has gotten in touch a little bit.
Nice.
I have some home decor projects that I have been meaning to do. Some things that I've like, oh, I've been meaning to paint these frames a different color. And Oh, so like stuff like that, like a lot of like little projects like that, and they're not major projects. Whenever I touch something, it's something that I can complete, because
That's a
it's
good
not,
one.
yeah, it's not
Yeah.
something that I can start. It's something that I can complete and see satisfaction out of. Because I think if you try to start something and you don't complete it, or you can't complete it, you feel bad about it.
Yes.
So it's all things that I can complete and things that I've wanted to get done. Um, One of my favorite actually, it's the same project. About 2 years ago for Christmas, 2 years ago for Christmas, my mother asked me what did I want, and I said, I have a lot of pictures and a lot of empty walls in my house. I need picture frames. And in my mind, that's something I can tell my mother that I want, and without ever knowing her budget, that she can do and be happy. Like, it works, right? You,
Definitely.
you got to think about it. You got to think
Hmm.
about it in context. My mother will be 80 later this year.
Wow.
Yeah. So she gave me two frames that are, one of them holds 6 pictures, 7 pictures, and another one that holds 18 pictures.
Awesome.
Yes. And well, the one with 18 pictures, I printed out, and I have a photo printer at the house. So this really cost me nothing, because I had the paper, I had the printer, and I had the frame. All I had to do was take the time to do it. Um, I printed out 18 of my favorite performance shots of, just being with artists and stuff. And I just printed them all out
I love that.
and filled the frame. The second frame, the one with 7 pictures, is of my grandparents and my great grandparents.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I have,
Very cool.
yeah, I have pictures. I have 3 pictures of, there are 3 pictures in my family of my great grandparents. And so in that frame, I have pictures of all my grandparents and my great grandparents in that one frame. And as long as I've had the frame, I've known that's what I've wanted to do with it. But I hadn't taken the time to sit down and print the pictures and put the pictures in the frame. And now that it's there and on the wall, I am so happy it's there, that I can see all my grandparents. And
I love that example of starting something you knew you could finish. It was not that
mhm,
big of a deal, not super complicated,
mhm,
but yet so completely satisfying to have up on the wall. I think this is a great idea for
mhm,
people listening who are looking to feel that way, but are so caught up in the other things that we were talking about earlier. Even
mhm,
just a simple picture project, what a great idea,
mhm.
And
It's
you
like,
said something earlier. You said, um, I've been leaning into some of these hobbies, but you also
mm,
have been leaning into your lazy days, like,
oh, yes,
yeah.
I love it. Yeah, and I freely admit I do the even outside, even before the quarantine. I will lean into a lazy day in a minute. I will lay across the couch and eat and stream whatever it is I feel like watching. I will turn on the Hallmark Channel. So I'm gonna tell y'all a secret of the Hallmark Channel when I'm done. But I will turn on the Hallmark Channel and lay across the couch with a blanket across my legs on my pillow and watch it all day. Get up to eat and go to the bathroom, and that's just where I'll be. And I don't care. I don't care, um, because I'm recharging. I am
Mm.
pulling my mind back together. The secret of the Hallmark Channel is if I fall asleep during one movie, when I wake up during the next one, it doesn't matter. They're all the exact same movie.
That is so true. That is so true.
The
Uh,
scenery, wait a minute, the town changes, the actors
yes.
may or may not change. That's the key. Not all the actors change. Some of them change, some of them don't. But at the end of the day, it's all the same movie.
You are
So
right. I love that you're unapologetic about the laziness too. And you know what? I don't even think
Hmm.
you have to call it laziness, because
Hmm.
sometimes we self-sabotage like that. We call ourselves lazy when
Hmm.
really it's actually necessary self-care.
Yeah.
So you guys get to define it, right? And if
Yeah.
laying around watching the Hallmark movies and just chilling like that is the
Yeah.
way that you can recharge, then you can
Mhm.
be unapologetic about the way that you do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and like I said, I've been known to do it, and honestly, and I won't care. And it'll be like today is a gorgeous day.
Yeah.
Um, and I should probably, granted, quarantine, really can't go anywhere, but I really should go somewhere. But no, probably when I'm done with this, I'll probably lay down and watch a Marvel movie.
I hear you. It is a beautiful day. I've been trying
Mhm.
to take advantage of the beautiful days because we've had a lot of rain this season too.
We've had,
You
we
know,
have,
getting
and
out, getting a little sun, getting a little nature connection for me. So the walks, definitely, that's been one of my tools.
that's true too. Well, see, the thing is, because of where I live in a Washington D.C. proper, and I do not own a car because I live in Washington D.C. proper, and from where I live and work, it's really not that necessary.
Mm.
Um, However, until the quarantine, I didn't realize that this was going to be a problem. The buses no longer run through my neighborhood.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So because that they reduced bus service in the city. So if I want to go out and get groceries on the, on the weekends, I have to walk. So tomorrow I'll be walking for like a half an hour. It's about a 20-minute walk for me to get from my house to the grocery store,
Mm.
and then 20 minutes back. So that's tomorrow. So
Got
so
it.
I'm just like, all right. But so that's when I usually get most of my nature walking in, which is probably also why I'm like, I'm not expending too much energy today.
Exactly. I'll turn on that Hallmark. I
Yeah.
like it.
The other thing that I've gotten into when I was saying also about leaning into hobbies is like one thing that I like to cook and I like to bake.
Mm.
But because of how I run around and live my life, I really haven't spent much time in the past, 15 years baking. So anybody ends up on my personal Instagram feed, I call it Sherri Plays with Flour. And just, I'm baking random stuff because I have time.
Yeah. A lot of people are cooking. I mean,
Hmm.
so this has been a really positive thing in our little world here at home, my daughter and I specifically,
Hmm.
and just coming together at the mealtime to
Hmm.
connect. And no,
Yeah.
I mean, no pressure, just we're cooking together. We're
Hmm.
just talking together. And it's been, for me, it's been actually a gift that wasn't happening before all this.
I represent one of the other factions of a quarantine life. I live alone.
Mm,
So the only person in the apartment is me.
yeah.
And so it's been a different experience. Like I'll say this, there's the family experience and the single experience in the quarantine, and it's definitely different.
That is for sure. Are you connecting on FaceTime and Zoom? Are you making an effort to connect like that?
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. My children have been my children are older. My children are 28 and 29. So they have been in touch a little bit more often since all of this started. Definitely the same communication schedule with my sisters and family and my friends and I. We're all staying in touch a little bit more. Um, Occasionally, like most days, I can walk to the grocery store to refill back in like any perishables I need. About once a month, about once every 6 weeks, I have to get out. Like I have to rent a car and get out to really do a full restock because I'll be out of pantry items.
Yeah.
So then I will like do some drive-bys on friends so I could actually say I saw some people. So I can actually see people like people I know outside of the computer. So I've found ways to make sure that I'm not truly disconnecting and becoming a hermit.
And I think that part of it too, so especially just long distance wise, where I wouldn't have been able to connect in person anyway, but
Mhm.
this has just made me think more often of my family members who are alone.
Mhm.
And then there's more connection, even if it's virtual, whatever, if it's, digital, virtual. And
Mhm.
that's also been a good thing because Well, because thinking about your people who are alone is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I
Yeah.
like that part of it too. Although I would imagine if you're like Sherri, if you're home alone through this,
Mm-hmm.
we're all talking about another level of anxiety that none of us has ever really experienced before. And then you talk about the people who are doing that alone.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that either we're going to come out of this as mindset masters or
Mm-hmm.
not, or
Or
not.
not. Or
Exactly.
not.
And I know you to be one of the people that
Mm-hmm.
will be a master. You already are. You are surviving in a way that we're looking at you with this beautiful rose flower background, and you wrote and you recited this beautiful poem for us in the beginning of the show.
Mm-hmm.
You are making the time alone a healing process.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm doing my best to enjoy and take in the quiet because wow. I want to say, because I have been, because as I've mentioned, I work a full-time job, Monday through Fridays. And I'm also a producing performing artist at night. And I've been doing that for 12 years total, the past 7 years, pretty constant, pretty consistent, where I'm out and performing all the time. And I was noticing towards the end of last year that I was like, I could probably use a vacation, like a poetry vacation, like just completely put it all down for like maybe a month. And I was going to schedule some time where maybe I was going to have someone else host my shows for me for a couple of weeks.
Oh, interesting.
I think I was going to do it in January. I was going to have somebody else host my shows so I could kind of take January off.
Yeah.
I didn't do it. I don't know
Yeah.
why. I
And
forgot
then
why I didn't do it. I
the
maybe because,
universe forced your hand.
but the universe
So
forced my hand. So I got the rest I wanted. I'm like, so that's just how I've leaned into it. Like I said, so I leaned into it and I sat back and it's like, all right, it's time for me to relax. It's time for me to just exhale. And I have the option now where, again, because how much of the open mic and the poetry community has ended up online.
yeah, all of
I
it.
can all of it. Yeah. And one of my friends has made it his mission to perform all around the world.
Wow.
Yeah, that was his mission. He's like, if there's an open mic in New Zealand, I want to be on it. If
Oh
they're
my
like,
goodness.
I think he just did something in the Philippines this morning because that's just what he wanted to do. And I'm just
Wow.
going, no, I'm good. I'm like, no, I'm good. That sounds like a lot of like time and a lot of sleep that
Yeah,
I would be missing. I
lack
would
of sleep.
rather go to the Philippines and perform and see the Philippines and like let me know
Definitely.
when they book you to go to the Philippines to perform and I will go with you and hang out with you there and perform and go see the Philippines. Like
Well,
I would
your
rather do that.
opportunity was rest, and rest is what a creative being needs to
Mm-hmm.
kind of rejuvenate the creative connection anyway. I think a lot of us who are in it every day, every night, performing, writing, thinking of
Mm-hmm.
the next thing to perform, and
Mm-hmm.
then you forget that, and you love it so much, you forget on like all the time that you need that, because you get
I do.
recharged from it too.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And I do miss it. But I will also say this. I've had like and artists, poets will understand this. Like in the past like year and a half, I've had a lot of concepts and lines coming to me, but not a lot of fully completed pieces.
Hmm.
Um, the piece I read today, I wrote in a day. Like once I saw the prompt, I think I wrote that within like an hour.
Is
Like
that
I
how
looked
they come to you?
sometimes, yeah.
Uh-huh.
But because that was wow. Oh, wait, wow. Now that I think about this, I'll get just another connection my head just made. but I just literally just wrote it in an hour because I was writing to a prompt.
Yeah.
And it was an interesting prompt, and I was able to get my thoughts out in what I've been going through in the past 3 months. But then I've also been able to start and really outline another piece and I outlined it last night and sent it to a friend of mine. And I said, just tell me what you think. Like, tell me what you, like, I'm on to something with this piece. And she read it and she's like, that's a good concept. She's like, you got to flesh it out more. I'm like, yeah, I think I got to flesh it out a little bit more. I said, I think this is an interesting concept, what I've written. So the fact that I'm even like feeling productive, like, oh, wait a minute, that's like 2 concepts and 2 poems in the same week. I don't even remember the last time I did that.
It's maybe coming back to you a little bit, that flow.
Yeah, the flow is starting to come back now.
Yeah.
So maybe because I was able to put it down and rest, the flow of words is coming back.
I think so. I think that's always true. I don't think for a connected artist of any kind that you ever lose it. I just think that stuff gets in the way. I mean, we can always connect whenever we want to, but we rarely rest. And so then when we rest, it just enhances it.
Yeah.
It strengthens it. I don't know. I mean, I've found that when I can rest, it does do something. You know, it's kind of like training your body. They say that the rest days are as important as the training days.
Exactly.
And you realize how strong you are when you rest, you know?
Yeah. Exactly.
So I liken it to that. So have you tried anything new over these last few weeks? You wanted to talk about, or you wanted to share with our listeners, try something new.
Try something new.
Whether or not you think you're going to fail.
Yes. Try something new.
Yeah.
Or something that you think that you've wanted to try. What I mean by that, like, okay, so as I mentioned, I have been baking, and I've always known how to cook. And I'm not afraid to pick up a Duncan Hines cake mix box. But I've made scones.
Nice. You're going to make me hungry. Ugh,
I am. Warning. Yes. I'm going to make everybody hungry. And like the first thing I did was I made banana bread because I had bananas going bad sitting in the house. They were just going bad. So I made banana bread from scratch, and I'm just going, oh, that was easy. I think I did that like the first 3 weeks. During the first 3 weeks of the quarantine, I made homemade banana bread. And I was like, oh, that was easy. And then I went to find flour, and then was that when I did the waffles? I think I did the chicken and waffles that day. And I'm like, because I'd never made that before in my house. And I fried chicken before. I have fried chicken. I have made waffles. I'd never made my own chicken and waffles.
Nice.
I have no idea why. I've baked scones, cranberry orange scones, which happens to be my favorite.
Yum.
I've made chocolate waffles last weekend because why not?
Yeah.
There's something else. Oh, I made strawberry shortcakes last week. I made actually the biscuits for the strawberry shortcakes because I've got a big flat of strawberries. So there'll be a lot of strawberry related recipes about to come off of my feed because I have a bunch of strawberries. No, I bought the strawberries on purpose because I love strawberries, and the whole flat was only $20. And I make enough smoothies to support the purchase, but I'm like, oh, I should do some other stuff.
So you're posting these recipes or pictures or whatever on Instagram?
Oh, yes, on my personal Instagram, which I did not include. I will send it to you.
So okay, I was going to say, I was just reading those going, wait a minute, I don't have that.
I have to, yes, I gave you all my business ones, not thinking. On my personal Instagram, I am, and I hashtagged them Sherri Plays with Flour.
Nice, okay.
But but these are things that in my mind, I'm like, I can't do that. That looks complicated. That looks hard. And and as I've done it, or wait a minute, and it's 2 things. One that looks complicated and that looks hard. I've gotten into it and I'm going, this isn't hard. This is actually rather easy. Now I feel silly that I haven't done this before. 2, and this is a legitimate excuse. I live alone. It really doesn't make sense for me to sit up here and make a full batch of 8 scones.
Right.
Until you read the recipe that says freeze them.
Exactly.
freeze them. I went,
Exactly.
no, no. So when I made the scones, I baked off 4 right away, and I froze the other 4 unbaked. And so whenever I want, like, so for breakfast this week, since I was at home, while I was preparing myself to go to work, I turned on my oven and baked 2 scones, and I had scones for breakfast. It it never dawned on me that this was a thing.
I love
So
it. And I
so
love it because I've been doing it too. I totally feel you. Like,
mhm,
we've been making recipes we would have never even tried
mhm,
before. Why? I'm not, same thing. Like, I don't know. I guess I just never felt like I had the time to get every ingredient and follow the I just never had that
yeah,
slow chunk of time
mhm.
to try that new thing and not worry about even if it works out, you
Right.
know?
There's one picture I need to post, and I think I'll do it today, because the other thing is, because what I said is also, don't be afraid if you fail.
Yeah.
I wanted purple velvet cupcakes
Oh my goodness.
because everybody makes red velvet cupcakes. I
Yes.
wanted purple ones.
Okay.
Um, they came out black because
Yeah.
when they cooked, they came out black, and I'm like, okay,
Okay.
so how do we make this better? So how do I do this? I still haven't figured out how. I know how to make purple cupcakes. Just make a yellow cake and then put the purple dye in it. But I want purple chocolate cupcakes, so that's what I'm trying
Yeah.
to
Okay.
figure out. But yeah, but so even if you fail, they still tasted amazing. It's just not what not the color I wanted. They're not Instagram worthy, but it's okay.
I love that.
Mhm, mhm.
Okay, so Sherri will have to hook me up with her personal Instagram later for you guys, so you
It's
can go watch
oh,
her pictures
it's
and
Poet Simply Sherry. Poet
oh, there
Simply
we go.
Sherry.
There we go.
Yes,
There we go.
Poet Simply Sherry is my personal Instagram. I post a lot of stuff. You'll see my craft. You'll see some craft projects I'm working on. I believe my flower backdrop right here is up there. My my baking fun is there.
Nice.
Uh, and if there's anything particularly going on, or if I find a funny meme, I'll post that too, because I'll
And
be annoyed.
you're staying
Mhm.
high vibe.
Yeah, I'm doing my best
Yeah.
to stay high vibe.
So you want
And
go
and
ahead.
I will say this, and if I need to, I will cry. I'm not gonna lie, I will lay on
Mhm.
the couch and cry,
Okay, I like
because
that too.
I feel if that's the energy I need to have. That's the energy.
Yeah, honoring the feelings, and
Mhm,
anybody in my Brave Healer audience understands that, first it's about honoring those feelings, but then it really is about you've talked about several tools today, which I love,
mhm,
because if you have the awareness, then it is your choice to pivot and shift toward using the tool to
mhm.
kind of move yourself into a place of I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of ways to talk about that, and it's always honoring your individual process. What
Mhm.
matters most. At least that's how I think of it.
Yeah, that's true. That is
So
very true.
you wanted to share also the idea of just elevating your routine. What did you mean by that?
Oh, this is definitely some fun stuff that I'm going to discuss. And I'm going to say that some of the things I'm going to say, yes, are going to come from a place of, yes, I still have a paycheck coming in. So I did have a little, and I've been able to make a little bit extra money over the past couple of weeks. But I still think that some of the things I'm going to say, there are ways to do it without having to spend any money.
That's a good thing to say ahead of time. I know there are a lot of people struggling with a loss of their entire
Mhm.
job or the profession that they had been, it was the bread and butter. I mean, I am an example. Physical
Mm,
therapy is hands on, and my
right.
entire world shut down in a day.
Right.
So I hear you. I like that you're prefacing it like that.
Yes, so I will preface with that.
Yeah.
One of the things I did is over the past couple of weeks is, because I'm home and I'm working and I love coffee. I enjoy going to Starbucks, which I have not done since March. I've driven past one, haven't been in one. I bought myself some glass latte mugs and a automatic milk frother, so that when I
I
make
love
my
it.
call, I have a latte every morning with my breakfast.
I love it. And your scones.
And my scones when I want them.
Well, what is that about that that's elevating for you? Talk about that part of it.
It's just I drink coffee every day, and with cream, with a non-dairy creamer, and I could continue to do that and be fine. But something about having it as a latte in this glass mug just makes me feel like, okay, I've left the house, or I'm doing just something a little bit prettier, like I'm making my world this little bit of my world prettier, or
a little bit prettier,
just a little bit prettier.
Yeah.
For myself. If you're a coffee drinker, another thing I've done in the past couple of weeks, as I mentioned, I'm a coffee drinker. So one of my purchases over the past couple of weeks is, instead of buying regular coffee, I bought Southern pecan flavored coffee, which happens to be one of my favorite flavors. So I bought a flavored coffee just so that it's just not regular.
Yep.
Plating my food, like, even though I'm just cooking, what did I have for lunch today? A piece of fish and kale. That was my lunch today, but at least I tried to make sure it was pretty on the plate. Again, it's just me, but at least trying to not fall into just throwing a bunch of stuff in the bowl and throwing things onto a paper. I mean, not anything's wrong with paper plates, but I'm just saying, just making sure that you're trying to not fall into a pattern of just, I'm a poet that can't reach for the word that I'm looking for here.
I mean, you know what you're making me think of?
Mhm.
You're being highly intentional
Yes.
about the energy, and you're doing it for yourself, which I absolutely just, I'm like, yes, this is the, you know, it's so funny. I was about to say like radical self-love, but honestly, let's stop that. Like, it's just should be a normal amount of
right. It's a normal amount of, it's just, you're right. You said it. It's be intentional with how you are presenting whatever it is to yourself.
Yeah.
Yes. Am I coming to work at my desk in my pajama pants and a t-shirt every day? Yes. Main reason I don't do it in a pajama shirt is because I don't know if my boss is going to try to Zoom me. So let me put on a regular shirt, but I might be in pajama pants. It happens. But, but in everything else I do, I try to be intentional in its appearance and in how it is to me, so that I don't feel, because I know that I can easily fall into a depressive mode. And if I'm just doing the same thing every day and falling into a pattern that I feel is not conducive to me feeling well or doing my best at it, then I'm going to tumble down.
Are you personally shutting off all news?
I'm shutting out as much as I can.
And what do you mean by can? Like, are you feeling that obligation to watch some out of curiosity?
I listen to an NPR podcast called Up First thing in the morning, Monday through Friday. That's about 15 minutes. And that kind of gives me all the national news. And I kind of have an idea of where everything is going. I may scroll over to Yahoo's new feed once or twice a day, just to kind of get the highlights of what's going on. But other than that, that's it. And that's only because I feel the need to know what is have an idea of what is going on. I probably should be a little bit more engaged in the news right now, because I live in DC and I know that they are protesting not far from me.
Yeah.
Where the protest had started, where they all met up before they started walking towards the White House. is not right on top of me, but is not exactly that far from me. I bet that's the best way to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not too far away from that area. So I just want to make sure that they're not trying to spread out too far. That's the way I'll say it.
Well, and it makes me just want to ask you, and sometimes, you know, you don't know what to ask somebody, but I want to ask you if you're okay, if you feel safe, if you still feel okay. And I think for a lot of people, the answer would be a big fat no, hell no right now. And so how can we help people? How can we help people?
Actually, let me see. I'm not too sure exactly how many people have read that piece. I've only ever, okay, besides doing it today, I've sent it out to one other person. And when they read it and they sent it back comments to me, that person said to me, he's like, oh, I know how to support you now. He's like, I see I was like, I understand what you're going through now. So to support and help anyone that you care about, just ask them what they need. And
that is so key.
Ask them what they need. And I think for me personally, what I need is, and it's the same, I'm the same way all the time. This is good for me to know. Now that I'm saying it out loud. I'm a person that needs, there's a balance point in everything between I need people and I need to be alone. And I need everybody to remember that, just keep me in my balance point. I think, and some of my friends know this, when the quarantine first started and everybody was trying to connect, everybody was kind of driving me crazy because I was out of my balance point because like, y'all are not allowing me to be alone.
Yeah.
So everybody has found me back and let me get back to my balance point. Like, okay, I'm alone now. I'm like, I read, but if I truly get to a spot where I'm feeling like a little dark or I'm feeling a little depressed, I have no issues with reaching out and like just to have a conversation with somebody and be and just to talk about something, and then I'll feel a little bit better, and then I'll go outside and get some sunshine.
You said something so important. It seems like a duh. Just ask people what they need. Because sometimes I think we jump, we're the helpers. We like to help people. As moms, we like to fix things and help people and oh my gosh. And we're just want to be there for everything. But then we don't stop for a moment and just ask, what do you need? You specifically.
Yeah. What do you want? What do you need right now? How can I help? So so actually I have to remember that there's a show on NBC called New Amsterdam. And that's what the doctor says all the time. The medical director of the hospital, whenever he walks into a scene, that's what he says. How can I help?
I like it. Anything you want to leave us with today? I was almost going to ask you for another poem to finish us today, but I don't know how quickly you can grab something out of the
out of the ether,
brilliant mind that you have. Can you?
Yes, I will leave out on a short love poem. Oh, yes, I will leave out on a short love poem. And because I promised everybody else that I would video the other poem, which I need to do.
Oh, yeah.
Today. Okay. Yeah, I said something about it on my Facebook page.
Oh, and then I just want to make sure. So like for that one that you shared with us earlier, is there one of the places that people can land? Is it your website where you actually have them written out or recorded or?
Ooh, that
anything?
One. No.
Well, come on.
But there's a book. There is a book, not of my recent work, not a lot of my recent work. But if you do want my book, you can go to my website. It's Simply Poetic Entertainment. The book is called Love Simply, and you can purchase it through the website.
Nice.
The funds will come directly to me, and I will sign it and send it right out.
Yay. Okay.
So feel free to reach out to me there.
Love Simply, and you can get that at simplypoeticentertainment.com, you guys. I'm going to have you linked up in the notes, in the show notes. And I'm so glad I thought to ask you about that. See, we went a whole almost hour. You didn't tell us about your book. Holy moly.
Wait, but rewind.
OMG.
Watch. This short poem that I'm about to do is in the book.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Lay it on us.
All right. And I'm going to do this because we need a little love in the world, and there's nothing like new love and waiting for that first kiss. And so this poem is called Kiss Me. Kiss me. Leave me a quivering mass of anticipation of what could possibly be next. Let sunlight-drenched dreams be replays of that moment our lips last connected. Keep it sweet, sustained. Ignore our surroundings and whoever may be watching. Engage in a kiss with me that changes things. Make it Oscar-worthy. From here to eternity, imprint your lips onto my soul cement. Make a mark on my heart that's permanent. Keep it strong, steady, with intention, with New Year's Eve's expectations that, yes, tomorrow we'll start something new. Kiss me until you taste the dryness in the grapes and get so drunk in love off Sherri that you're stumbling. Lace your lips with love, sexuality, and devotion. LSD, make me see hallucinations. Kaleidoscope images, stars spiraling. Let me stay high. Soaring with the angels. Kill insecurity, silent shadows, and slay my fears. So when my lips graze your Adam's apple, they would all die here. Kiss me frequently until it feels so unnatural not to. And that is the end of that piece.
Oh, you know, a poem is good when you just wish it would keep going. Oh, could you go a little lower? Oh my goodness. That was so, I have heard you read that before. That one just doesn't get old for me. I love that.
Have you seen it done in person?
I have. And I think,
Okay.
didn't you do it in a duo?
I do it in, yeah, actually, yes. Yes.
Is it with the one particular gentleman? What is his name?
His name is Analysis.
Okay.
Yes, actually, that's a fun story. So if you're ever in the Washington, D.C. area, or should we get out of the area, and you catch us in the same venue, ask us. That is my piece that I wrote about 6 years ago now, 5-6 years ago. And him and I are very good friends, as if not noticed. And we were, I was performing the poem about 3 years ago on stage, and I looked up and he was performing it with me. Like, I'm watching him and I'm like, oh, you get on stage and do the poem. Like, and I'm like, I think I was hosting, like, you get on stage and do the poem. And so it was kind of started, so us doing it together kind of started as a joke. And now it's just, almost on some levels, it almost doesn't even sound right, me doing it by myself.
It's when I saw it, I believe it was, I mean, I may have heard you do it once before by yourself, but honestly, I'm not sure I remembered, because the time I saw the two of you do it, it felt like a whole new thing. And I was just, oh my gosh, you guys were so awesome. I loved it.
And the number of people the people that have seen it, that know us separately, and the people that see it, they're just like, they get so confused because they're just like, they don't understand what just happened. It's a lot of fun to take in. It's a lot of fun to do the poem with him, and it's a lot of fun to take in the reaction of our friends after we've done it. And then I met a new poet this year before, the world went into a handbasket. Very well-respected artist out of Boston. And after we performed the poem, they walked up to me and they said, I see what y'all did there. And I have to do that now. Because that was they said, I have to go home to my partner and we have to do that. Because nobody apparently does that. I was like, wow.
I mean, it just amps up the energy of collaboration between two or more people. It's just everything is elevated, as you
Hmm.
were talking about
Yes,
earlier.
it's just a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you for
Mhm.
sharing that one with us. Oh my
You're
goodness.
welcome.
That
You're
was
welcome.
awesome.
Hmm.
Any last note you want to leave the listeners with today?
Yes. If anything, everyone, during these times, be gentle with yourself. Um, this is crazy. This this environment that we're living in right now is crazy. It's stressful. Um, Everybody is wound up. And I think, oh God, I think there was a couple of, I think it was like mid-April, I think was the week where everybody kind of was just ready to lose it on their partners and lose it on their friends. And some people did. And because I think, and just like you just had to relax through it. So just be gentle on yourself, be gentle with everyone else. Um, Not everybody, but just try to be mindful. Um, Find a way to unplug. And even if it is just, and even it does mean plugging into YouTube and finding a video of something innocuous, do that. Because if you're not taking care of yourself mentally and your mind and your spirit, the rest of you will easily fall apart. And this can get worse. And that's what we want to try to avoid, the worst.
Thank you for that. And
You're welcome.
thank you so much for what you're doing in the world, and really just for being here to share it with us today. I
No, thank you.
appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You guys, remember to hop over to simplypoeticentertainment.com. You guys are going to find Simply Sherri on Facebook, Simply Poetic Entertainment, Twitter, Simply Poetic ENT, all the stuff, you guys. She's on Instagram in like 4 different places. I'll have it all linked up for you, okay? And, you know, okay, so lastly today, just to end the show with one last message, you guys. You were born, so you are worthy, and your message matters. And what if the thing you're just a little still afraid to share is exactly what someone needs to change or even save their life today? It's time to be brave, you guys. We'll see you next time.